The African sunrise cast a golden glow across the wide savanna. Birds chirped, insects hummed, and trees swayed gently in the warm breeze. Nature's symphony playing on as usual. But hidden beneath the usual harmony of the wild, something astonishing was about to unfold. A drama so unexpected, it would leave scientists and the world speechless. It all began with a trapped lion and a gorilla driven by something far deeper than instinct. In the dense emerald heart of a protected African sanctuary, wildlife thrived under the watchful eye of rangers. One of them, a veteran named John, had spent more than a decade safeguarding this ecosystem. His deep love for nature and its creatures guided his every step. That morning, John was on a standard patrol to monitor areas at risk of poacher intrusion. As he passed through a thick patch of undergrowth, a strange sound reached his ears. It wasn't the usual rustle of leaves or animal call. It was weak, strained, like a cry. His instincts sharpened. Something wasn't right. Following the sound, John crept closer to a shaded clearing. There, trembling at the base of an ancient tree, was a baby gorilla, frail and frightened. Its deep black fur was caked with dust, and its wide eyes were filled with confusion and fear. Nearby lay a broken poacher's snare. The young gorilla had somehow escaped, but John feared its mother hadn't been as lucky. He moved gently, his voice low and calm, speaking softly to the terrified creature. He sat down, slowly extending a hand. At first, the gorilla backed away, letting out small, nervous cries. But something about John's presence, the patience in his movements, the kindness in his eyes, seemed to ease its fear. Then the tiny gorilla reached out and touched John's finger. A connection sparked, one that defied reason. John carefully lifted the baby in his arms. It trembled, but didn't resist. He named the young gorilla Kofi, meaning born on a Friday. Back at the ranger station, Kofi was nurtured with gentle care, nutritious food, safety. And he thrived. His coat grew sleek, his limbs strong. Kofi became more than a rescued animal. He became John's companion, a friend, a son. Kofi began joining John on patrols, scampering through trees and warning him of distant sounds. He was unusually perceptive, able to detect the vibrations of poacher vehicles and issue low calls that alerted the rangers. Over the years, their bond only deepened, a testament to the mysterious, unspoken language shared between humans and animals. 5 years passed. Kofi had grown into a robust and intelligent adult gorilla. Though he still roamed freely, he always returned to the ranger station and to John. One afternoon, as the sun beat down from above, John was resting at the station when Kofi arrived in a frenzy. He tugged at John's arm, pacing back and forth and letting out urgent, unfamiliar vocalizations. His eyes, usually calm, were filled with alarm. John stood immediately. Something was wrong. Kofi led John into the deeper forest, constantly glancing over his shoulder to make sure John was following. They crossed narrow creeks, slipped through thick vines, and finally emerged into a hidden clearing. John froze. There, suspended by one powerful hind leg, hung a majestic male lion, its golden mane now streaked with dust and blood. It had been caught in a vicious poacher's snare. The rope had tightened to the point of cutting deep into its flesh. The lion growled, weakly, its strength clearly fading. John recognized the lion immediately. It was one of the most dominant and vital males in the region, a guardian of balance in the sanctuary's ecosystem. Seeing it like this was a blow to the entire reserve. Kofi approached the lion without fear, making soft, sorrowful grunts, something John had never seen before. A gorilla, comforting a predator? John quickly radioed for assistance. "Bring tranquilizers and cutters, fast." As the team prepared, John knelt beside the lion, whispering gently, trying to soothe its fear. Kofi sat nearby, watching every move with unwavering concern. When the team arrived, John administered a carefully measured dose of tranquilizer. Slowly, the lion relaxed into unconsciousness. The Rangers worked quickly but gently, removing the cruel snare with practiced precision. The wound was deep, raw, and already showing signs of infection. John disinfected the gash, wrapped it in clean bandages, and gave the lion a small injection of antibiotics. All the while, Kofi remained by their side. Once stabilized, the lion was transported to the station for treatment. A large enclosure was prepared where it could rest under constant supervision. And then something even more unexpected began. Kofi, again and again, would visit the enclosure. He'd sit quietly outside the fence, watching the lion sleep or eat. He brought small branches and fruit, tokens of peace, placed gently near the gate. John was stunned. At first he feared the lion might become agitated, but instead the massive predator began showing signs of calm in Kofi's presence. Sometimes the lion would nuzzle the fence where Kofi sat, eyes half closed, as if saying, "Thank you." Over the following weeks, a strange and beautiful friendship blossomed. John and the staff observed in awe as the gorilla and lion, two species never meant to connect, shared a space of quiet companionship. Kofi stayed near the enclosure for hours at a time. The lion no longer growled, no longer saw a threat, just understanding. The injury healed slowly, but under John's care, and perhaps Kofi's support, the lion grew stronger. His eyes regained their fierce spark. His body filled out. He began to pace with renewed strength. Then came the day. The gate to the lion's enclosure was opened. The lion stepped out cautiously, feeling the grass beneath his paws. Once more, Kofi was there, waiting. He approached the lion, touched his leg, gently. And the lion, this fearsome king of the wild, turned and nuzzled the gorilla's chest. A soft farewell. Then, with one powerful breath, the lion raised his head and roared, a thunderous sound that echoed through the sanctuary. It was a call of triumph, of return, of thanks. He turned and walked away into the wild. Kofi stood there, watching him go, until he vanished into the trees. Then, Kofi turned to John. No words were needed. His eyes said it all. Something extraordinary had happened. A life had been saved. A bond had been formed. A message had been shared, not in language, but in action. The story of the gorilla and the lion, one desperate, the other compassionate, spread across the sanctuary. Scientists who later heard the account were stunned. Could animals truly experience empathy this way? Could a gorilla recognize suffering and act with such intention? John didn't need theories or studies. He had witnessed it firsthand. From that day forward, John and Kofi continued their mission, protecting the forest, side by side. And whenever a lion's roar echoed across the trees, John couldn't help but wonder if somewhere out there, a golden-maned friend remembered a black gorilla who answered his cry. And the world would never forget the day a lion begged for help and a gorilla answered. Dear friends, please don't forget to subscribe the channel and like the video for more interesting stories.